Hey, Tom, I don't know if you can hear us. We can't hear you though.
Thank you. All right, sorry. So let's just recap what I just did. So in the add article page, we need, when we want to add an article, we click submit. It needs a user token of a logged in user that's being passed in this add article API. So in order to pass in the user into the add article page or component, we need to essentially do the same thing that we did with render login page. We also have to do with the render article page, which we created a function called render article page, which takes in props. We don't really need props, but it's kind of good to default there. And then we returns the add article page component and passes in a user prop user prop, and the property is the current state's user.
I would say it does need props because part of the render method passes down the history and all of the other things.
Yeah.
So that actually does get passed as props.
Yes. So yeah, that the history and everything does get passed as props. And then in the render article page, in this route that used to say component add article, that's how it used to be. Now it's going to say render, which renders should equal a function that returns a component. So this is a function, this render article or render add article page returns a component with our user passed in as props. So in our add article page, this dot props should equal our user. And when we actually submit an article, we need that user token from our user. And we're assigning it here, user token, this dot props dot user dot ID. And we're passing that user token into our API, user API. Let's see. I think that should work. Let's refresh. Our current user is null. I'll log in, tom@email.com. 123, 123, I'm submitting. There's login. I go to add article. So I want to add an article page. Here's my current login user that's being passed down to the add article page as props. User consists of the created, this is that user ID, this is that token that I'm passing in. So I should be able to hopefully test title, test byline, test abstract. I'm crossing my fingers that this is going to work. Clear this. Oh, snap. So articles API, that's where I'm console logging that. And so it looked like it worked. There's my user. I'm going to go back to the home. There's my test title right here. But it still says login. And now if I do a quick refresh, I don't think I have any users left. Yep, so let's look at the requirements. Should we successfully submit an article? If you can, okay. As a user, you aren't logged in and are now unable to post an articles. We should have an add an article button appear in app nav. We kind of just did that. When a user is logged in, so yeah. So the add article button should only appear when the user is logged in. All right, into the app nav. So I need to pass in this .state.user into the app nav as a prop. So let's see how to do that. So in my app.js, so with this specific case, how can I pass in the state, this current state, the current user, into the app nav.
The same way you did, you create a function.
Where you have your app now.
But it's where I have my, so within the routes,
moving around. Pass it.
I'm just calling this, I'm not doing like a route equals
Oh,
component. So in here I can just do user equals this dot state dot user. So let's go to our app nav, pages, API, components, app nav. And I want to, this is a functional component. I'm just going to console log this dot props dot, what was it? User? And where's my home page? Oh no.
So there's no this.
Oh, thank you. So yep, good call. So I'm using a functional component. Functional components don't use this. Maybe I can even, I don't know what that's there for, so I can deconstruct just user. That makes sense. So I'm deconstructing everything that's being passed out in props. I'm just going to console log. Since this is a functional component, let's refresh. Currently it's null. Log in, tom@email.com, 123, 123. There's my login. There's my app nav. There's my app nav still say null user. I don't know why that is. Yeah. Let's do const.
Using a functional component where you have your console log inside your, you have it inside your return.
Did I have it in the return? I'm just gonna do it this way. User. Oh yeah, it's it might not work like that. Oh, let's try it out. No, login, Tom, email.com, 123, 123. I think it's because it's been called before, or maybe it's not even updating.
Because it,
Oh, here it is. Oh, this is my user. Sorry. I must have missed that.
It's there.
So here's my user that's being passed into AppNav. So in here, we can do what?
Rapid. You can do the double ampersand.
User. So we're always gonna, even if there's an error, we're gonna get something back. So let's.
and then you can say log in versus log
Right. If user.
So colon. Oh yeah, question mark.
Then log out.
So
Log out.
true, you want the login false one.
If user.
Log
If user you want to log in, if not user you want to log out.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
If user.
So if the user's already logged in, so right now it's existing.
You want to say log out.
Yeah, so copy this. Log out. We're gonna have to do this. Log out. Let's try it. Tom@email.com, 123, 123. It says log out. Sweet. All right, whatever. We're gonna get there, but I'm gonna refresh. It's gonna reset everything. I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna not do a give one. I still get to log out. Look at my user. This is what the error. So maybe if user.error exists. So I'm just gonna do if user.error. User dot Got error. Does an ID show with error? Oh,
If you do user ID, if you're logged in, it shows the number. If you're not logged in, it shows.
So how should we handle this error? So if user dot ID, still get one, because what if there's null? Because it's checking if the user is null at this point. So if we just set, I forgot how I did it. Let's see what I did. I set the default. Huh. That's what I did. So if user is false, what do you think?
So maybe make it, or you could make it more complicated by doing a nested
Yeah,
binary.
you can do that. What did I do? This is the way I did it. I wonder if I got something else back. If user, I think in the articles API or in the login API, I changed it. Where's the login or the users API? I want to change. Oh, API. Yeah, not user API. If I'm gonna console log the response when it is bad, a bad response. Here's the response. So if response.status, response.status equals 401. Return null. Oh, yep, thank you. Else, I don't really have to do that, but just get in the habit. What is going on? Let's test this out now. Login. So post null, appnet null, that's good. So in our app nav, so if user login, did it work? So if I log in, it doesn't change, which is good. Now if I log in, tom@email.com, 123, 123. Ah, yeah, sweet, works.
So you want to have this similar thing to do on above the top pattern.
Ah, there we go. So if user, how about just and?
Yeah.
I can add our article. All right, so I'm not logged in, and let's see if it works. I'm just gonna do no. All right, nothing happened. I'll log in. Tom@email.com, 123. Whoop. All right, let's see if I can add an article. Tom's article. Successfully. Now I'm gonna have to delete this, so because when I do this, it's gonna refresh the page automatically, so I will delete that eventually. But let's see if Tom's article exists.
Sure did.
Sweet. So now logging out doesn't do anything. What's next? So we kind of already did all that. Again, you'll want to display these links when appropriate if a user is logged in. All right. So I already have a route for login. We won't have a route defined for logout though. We'll get to that. Okay, it looks like we're gonna render a logout. So at this point, high-level objectives have been reached. We're authenticating users. We're updating the navigation to show portions of the site that only logged-in users are able to access, which is good. And we're providing a proper authentication in order to submit an article. Awesome. There are two last things we should do. We need to add a route that handles logging out. Okay. Both of these tasks will require new code to be added. For the logout, we'll do a long logout. Render logout. So just like we've done to that render add article page, we're going to do a const render logout, and then just add a new route that takes us back to the home page, does it? Path logout, render logout. So it looks like it's resetting the state to null in this render logout. Then it redirects us to login. Render logout. Let's just see. So I need to redirect. Thank you. I have to import the redirect since I'm using it down here. This is a built-in to React Router DOM. Let's see if that works. Log in. Tom@email.com. 123, 123. Now if I log out, hey, look at that. But what if I want to do, is that everything?
Because right now you could manually go to the URL for
Add.
article.
Okay. So right now let's see this. What if I add article? I can still get there. So let's add some more logic. Is that required? No, but let's do a stretch goal. In our add an article page, perhaps down here, do if that props. Where's it coming from? So it's taking in our user, this dot props.
We have to pass it in.
We've already passed it in, haven't we? Yeah, we've already. So we've got this dot props. So we got it right here. User is null. If this dot props dot user. So if it doesn't exist, right? Return, I'm going to add an alert. Or we can just do this. I'm going to do this. Return. Let's do danger.
Another option might be this. If you try and go to the page, it redirects into the login.
You don't have access to this page. See if this works. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Let's log in. First, let's log. All right, that's no one. All right, let's log in at email.com. 123, 123. Submitting. Okay, now I can add an article. So if I log out and visit add article, you don't have access to this page. But I just want you to know every time, so I'm going to log in, tom@email.com, 123, 123. If I submit it, if I refresh it, it's going to log me out.
You have to store cookies.
You don't have to. It's not part of this, but you can always like store something into local storage or something.
The token would be applied to some kind of local storage file.
It's more likely going to be assigned to something in the backend. It's going to actually store something in the backend that says you're logged in.
And it would expire after some while.
Yeah. Nice. Any questions? Anything you want me to go over? Remote.
That was a lot. Smell this one for sure.
I'm going to stop the recording there.